Good evening, Mananda. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2024, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 77 years of independence and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India, Sri Research Institute Center for Arts, Sciences, and Well-being. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, we are celebrating on 15th November every year and commemorating International Day for the prevention of fight against all forms of transnational organized crime. Organized crimes thrives worldwide, affecting governance and political process and weakening the advancement of the rule of law. It encompasses, inter alia, illicit trafficking of firearms, drugs, protected species, cultural property, or falsified medical products, and among its most severe manifestations, human trafficking and the smuggling of migrants. It also includes the laundering of proceeds of crime and obstruction of justice. Moreover, with all forms of organized crime shifting ever more to being dependent on or incorporating online aspects, including the use of virtual assets, its reach and capability of harm is increasing. Organized criminal groups are flexible in changing or expanding their illicit business for profit. They misuse vulnerabilities and crisis situations such as the COVID-19 pandemic, economic downturns, natural disasters, and armed conflicts, exploiting them for their own purposes. Traditional territorial-based criminal groups have evolved or have been partially replaced by smaller and more flexible networks with branches across several jurisdictions. Criminal actors, witness, victims, and proceeds of crime may be located in many different states. It is therefore evident that joint efforts from states across the world are required, as organized crime cannot be tackled in isolation. Pulling together to push back, united against organized crime. Organized crime steals, corrupts, and kills. It's time we pull together to push back. International Day for the Prevention of and Fight Against All Forms of Transnational Organized Crime calls for united global action. The devastating impact of organized crime threatens lives, destabilizes communities, and hinders economic and social development. But despite these challenges, there is hope. This day serves as a rallying point for action, demonstrating that collective efforts by governments, the private sector, civil society, and individuals can achieve real change. The United Nations Convention Against Transnational Organized Crime is applicable to all forms of serious crime of transnational nature committed by organized criminal groups. More than 2 decades after its adoption, it is among the most ratified international legal instruments. Together with its three protocols in the convention remains the primary global tool to prevent and address a broad range of criminal activities effectively. International Day for Prevention of and Fight Against All Forms of Transnational Organized Crime. In March 2024, the General Assembly declared 15th November the International Day for the Prevention of Fight Against All Forms of Transnational Organized Crime in order to raise awareness of the threats posed by all forms of transnational organized crime and to enhance international cooperation in this regard. It is recognized the importance of the prevention of and fight against transnational organized crime for the implementation of 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The General Assembly commemorated all victims of organized crime, including those who have lost their lives fighting such crime. In particular, law enforcement and judicial personnel, and paying special tribute to all those persons, such as Judge Giovanni Falcone, whose work and sacrifice paved the way for the adoption of convention and affirming but their legacy lives on through our global commitment to preventing and combating organized crime. For 2 decades, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, has been helping making the world safer from drugs, organized crime, corruption, and terrorism. We are committed to achieving health, security, and justice for all by tracking these threats and promoting and sustainable well-being as deterrents to them. Tools and publications on the work and efforts of UNDC or UNODC in the fight against transnational organized crime are available, including resources on human trafficking and migrant smuggling, illicit manufacturing and trafficking in firearms, cybercrime, and money laundering. Today, we are also commemorating various other commemorations. We'll quickly look at each of the commemorations. Today we are commemorating Yi Peng Festival in Thailand, which is celebrated from today and tomorrow. Yi Peng, also known as Yi Peng, is a Northern Thai festival that is celebrated on full moon of 12th month of the Thai lunar calendar, for the most part in November. This year it falls on November 15th to 16th. The celebration of lights was adopted from the Brahmin starting points that has strong ties to the ancient Lana kingdom. Yi Pang was once celebrated as a separate event to mark the end of storm season and the beginning of cool season. However, it is now celebrated in conjunction with Loi Krathong. Although other towns and cities in northern Thailand celebrate Yi Peng, Chiang Mai is the best place to experience this truly mysterious celebration. Brilliant lamp shows are set up at the Three Kings Monument, Tape Gate, and various doors around the canal that encompasses Chiang Mai's Old Town area. Coconut leaves and blossoms adorn the ways of sanctuaries and families. On Yi Peng Day, the evening of the full moon of Loi Krathong, lights or candles are also lit and placed at the entrances to shops, homes, and temples. Making the lamps or donating them to sanctuaries is one method of gaining merit and the radiance of light is important in Buddhist culture because it addresses the transition from obscurity to a mere promising future. The sky lantern even has come to symbolize letting go of one's deepest fears and desires. It is a symbolic cleansing, a letting go of all that bothers you. It also marks the start of new educated you, with the light enlightening the path of understanding and righteousness. Flying lit lanterns is the signature of the Ying Pang Lantern Festival. Under the cover of night sky, groups put on light fairs and shows. Gathering with families and eating out is essential. Spend this lantern festival relaxing and having a good time with your loved ones. You can decorate your home with paper lamps of different styles and shapes. It is viewed as a good fortune to gift someone as skyline. Many people believe the Ying Peng Lantern Festival originated in India and was inspired by the legend of the light bearing bird who visited Buddha to discuss merit. When you throw your light or kratang into a river or a high place, you should wish all your worries and misfortune away with it because it is a symbol of new beginnings. The romantic lantern scene in Disney's Tangle is inspired by the Yi Peng's idea of a light celebration. The wonderful paper lights that are delivered high up in the air every November are known as Komloi or Komfoi or Fai. The festival is among the traditions held in honor of Buddha. The Yi Peng Lantern Festival encourages forgiveness, peace, and love. We will undoubtedly achieve a positive spirit if we follow through on the events of today in a healthy manner, promoting a positive attitude. The Yi Peng Lantern Festival is full of color, fun, positivity, happiness, hope, love, and wonderful memories that will last a lifelong time. This is family-friendly holiday that can be enjoyed by everyone. Yi Peng was traditionally celebrated as a separate event to mark the end of the monsoon season and start of the cool season. Now it is celebrated in conjunction with Loi Krathong. Today is also commemorated as World Vasectomy Day, which falls on the third Friday of November every year. This year it is observed on November 15th. The day advocates for vasectomy as a safe and sensible choice for male contraception and promotes the training of doctors who can conduct the procedure. Vasectomy is a permanent contraceptive procedure done on a male sexual organ to limit the transfer of sperm during intercourse. Vasectomy is safe, reversible, and highly effective in preventing unwanted pregnancies. Since its launch in 2012, World Vasectomy Day has partnered with more than 30 countries and is now the largest male-focused family planning and sexual health movement in the world. World Vasectomy Day, in short known as WVD, encourages men to consider the choice of vasectomy as a contraception. It is a joint initiative of a filmmaker and journalist Jonathan Stack and urologist Dr. Doug Stein, who view the project as to popularize vasectomy as a collective movement for social change. The day is part of 7-day WVD event observed in the third week of November. The project has operating headquarters in Australia, Kenya, Indonesia, Mexico, Haiti, Rwanda, and Colombia. The founders consider vasectomy an act of love performed by an informed male to take control of their lineage into their own hands. As per the science of ovulation, a female's anatomy allows us to conceive only for 2 days in a month. That makes for 24 days in a year. So whereas a male can create a baby multiple times a day, every day of the month throughout the year. Hence, the onus of avoiding unwanted pregnancies should be on men. Instead, it is the women who mostly shield the burden with daily birth control, diaphragms, IUDs, etc. So, World Vasectomy Day inspires men to be compassionate partners to their spouses. There's a lot of stigma regarding a vasectomy that continues to plague our society, including the fear of emasculation and decreased sexual performance. WVD conducts educational events and men's health fairs to maximize participation and healthy discussion of the topic. The movement partners with leading public health organizations and the governments of specific countries to launch male specific family control initiatives. Vasectomies are the most effective form of male contraception with 99% efficiency. So there is no right or wrong time to get a vasectomy. Any 18 plus adult can choose to have vasectomy at any time in their lives. The procedure can cause some pain or discomfort with some residue swelling and bruising, but isn't ruled as terribly painful. The aftercare for the procedure includes icing, painkillers, and an entire day of rest. A WVD network trains new doctors and medical professionals to perform vasectomies on men. To mark the day, you can spread the word and connect impressionable medical professionals in your network towards the take-up training of one of the WD center. There are a lot of misinformation and obvious stigma attached to vasectomies on World Vasectomy Day. Arm yourself with important facts and statistics about the procedure so that you can challenge the preconceived notions of people and change minds, bursting some myths. Educate the masses. Vasectomy is a conscious choice that can have a positive impact on the well being of families and other people. So, mark the day by collaborating with your local leaders, writers, media personalities, and journalists to inform the public about the procedure and its implication. More than 500,000 men get vasectomy each year and is quite popular in the US. Vasectomy limits the mixing of semen with other seminal fluids without impacting the release, which men continue to orgasm after the procedure. So vasectomies do not affect a man's sexual drive or sexual performance. Although vasectomy is reversible for all patients, only 3 to 5% of men request an undo in their lifetimes. So reversal isn't popular. Vasectomy does not shield you from sexually transmitted infections such as syphilis, herpes, etc. So since its launch in 2012, the sole mission of the World Vasectomy Day project is to propagate the merits of getting a vasectomy. The project aims to encourage men to consider the upside of the procedure, which is a complete avoidance of unwanted pregnancy until they decide otherwise, so it's safe and reversible. WVD project is a year-round program that works with institutions to educate public, train doctors, and create a vibrant community of people who share a passion for sexual liberty and progressive procedures. In almost all committed couples, it is the female partner who takes birth control every morning, places a lot of responsibility on her. With WVD, people can learn more about the option of a one-time surgery. Vasectomy surgery takes about 10 to 30 minutes and has no post-operative restrictions or complications. Additionally, the cost of vasectomy is far less than that of a long-term birth control or female sterilization. It simply makes sense to treat vasectomy as a viable and financially sound option of contraception, which is what the day illuminates. Today is also commemorated as Govardhan Giri Puja, which is on November 15 this year, observed on the 4th day, and also the 15th day in some places on Diwali. The term means pile of grain and is celebrated in Hindu households to cherish Lord Krishna's victory against the Lord Indra by elevating the Govardhan hill. This heap of grain symbolizes this hill also aligns with the teachings of Lord Krishna on worshipping the nature. The day is also known as Annakut Puja and is also one of the most important spiritual rituals performed across India. Generally, it is celebrated on the 4th day of Diwali, but nowadays they are also celebrating on Kartika Purnami as well. So the word Govardhan is taken from the mountain named the same, which was single-handedly elevated by Sri Krishna. Go in Hindi is for cow, and Vardhan means sustenance. Go also means senses, and the term Vardhan means increase, resulting in increasing one's senses. By worshipping Krishna, it is believed that those who worship Govardhan Hill increase their belief and devotion towards Sri Krishna. This day also marks Lord Krishna victory against Lord Indra. The significance of basic elements of human life are also underlined on Govardhan Puja and so on. There are various legends associated with it. Today is also commemorated as Children in Need in UK. BBC Children in Need appeal happens every year on third Friday of November, and this year it falls on November 15th. BBC Children in Need is the BBC's charity. Its mission is to help ensure every child in the UK is happy, safe, secure, and has opportunities they need to reach their potential. The charity raises money and funds the appeal go to charities and projects that help remove the barriers preventing children and youth and young people from thriving. BBC Children in Need supports children and young people affected by several disadvantages such as poverty, distress, disability, illness, or trauma. Today is also commemorated as America Recycles Day in US, also known as National Recycling Day. The day is all about recycling and how to recycle, which recycled products to buy, and how to reduce waste. So with this, we shall conclude today's commemorations and look at the presentations. Take up the presentations from the participants as we have invited. Presentations in this 1 week, which is dedicated to Children's Day, starting from Children's Day in India to the World Children's Day or Universal Children's Day, celebrated and commemorated by UNICEF on 20th November. So this entire week we are celebrating, apart from other commemorations, we are also having Children's Week. So we invite presentations, posters, and any activities by children and also by students, scholars, and faculties to come forward for their presentations. So those who are interested to make presentations can share their details in the chat box so that we can invite you for the presentations. So we have one presentation by Mr. Pradeep, Role of Compassion, Teaching in Children. He is working in animal welfare since decade, and he is very much proactively engaged in animal welfare, animal rights, and also rescue and rehabilitation. And he is also very closely associated with us in various animal welfare activities. So we welcome you, Mr. Pradeep, once again. And today we are also commemorating and celebrating Dev Diwali. It is Kartika Purnima. We'll commemorate after this session. So Pradeep, you can unmute yourself, start your video and audio and presentation.
Thank you, Ravindra sir, for the wonderful introduction. So, a very good evening, all. Uh, my name is Pradeep, and I work at the animal welfare closely more than 8 years as a student, as I told, it's been decade. So, without getting into much of the introduction, I am going to start the presentation. So, let me share my screen. Just give me a second. the technical problem. Just-
Now it's visible, present.
Thank you, Ravi sir, for confirming. Sorry, everyone, to keep you waiting. There was a slight technical disruption. So today I'm going to talk about role of compassion teaching in children. So we live in a world of distraction and also constantly with technological gadgets being day to day being increasing, and so do the crimes are also getting increased, especially in children. We have been seeing a lot of juvenile crimes, which has been happening uh, mostly on not only humans, but also the mostly vulnerable are the animals. So they have been mostly victimized. Now, if you can see what actually make them to more towards that cruelty towards humans and animals is lack of empathy and lack of compassion. So today in this presentation, we are going to know about how can we inculcate compassion and empathy in children. So moving further ahead, teaching kids the art of compassion. Right now, teaching the kids from the art of compassion starts from the home, because the home is one of the first school for any children. So in earlier days, we used to have this joint family system, and we used to have grandmother, grandfather, and all others. Where used to say a lot of moral stories and ethical stories. So where we used to learn a lot of like empathy, sympathy. We have to be there with, and we should be kind towards animals, and a lot of moral stories. And moreover, children all by at that generation, they used to observe from their grandmother, grandfather, parents, uncle, maternal uncle, everyone. So they used to learn from them, because children are like, they are our, I mean to say, a photocopy of us. I mean to say, whatever we say, whatever we do, our actions, they reflect. So now in the technological era, the emergence of a nuclear family system, there is the family system has been lost, and at the same time, both husband and a wife, we being working employees, sometimes there is a miss of connection, and also they are not able to spend much time with their children, and leaving all on the academic institutions like all those things. And even the school, they only teach about the subject knowledge. But how about how should we react? How the emotional intelligent quotient, and also the nowadays, which is very important, we call as EQ. Uh, the EQ is more important than IQ, the intelligent quotient. So the emotional quotient, which is been lacking, because nowadays grades are getting, children are getting grades, but when you see that way of communication, the way of they communicate with the parents or children, like other fellow children, friends, or even with any other things, they were little bit adamant, rude, and you know why this is happening is, well, because a lot of the times children are getting addicted to the technology is one of the aspect, and the house, the home we teach. If every day husband and wife are quarreling, every day they have been the child is hearing the negative words, negative behavior. So he or she, the child, maybe a boy or girl, they similarly they exhibit the same behavior, because they every day they see the violence or some form of like anything, the quarreling and all. So the support system is also missing in the current generation. So if we talk about the our culture, being in India, we have this called as a ahimsa parama dharma. So India is a country which is rich in diverse and culture and heritage. So we have this ahimsa. We follow the ahimsa principles. Now, when you talk about the defining of ahimsa, ahimsa is made up of two words, a and himsa. A means absence, and himsa means violence. The principle itself says that one should refrain from any form of violence to any living creature. That means not only humans but also animals. So the violence could be include physical violence. That means hurting anyone, hitting anyone, or any sort of physical violence that should be avoided. And mental form of violence nowadays it's been increasing day by day. And also uh, name calling, Social media nowadays, we are seeing a lot of trolls also. So the mental violence is one of that, and verbal violence. A lot of the times, verbal violence we see that degrading others, and also such sort of behavior like using a vulgar language. These all comes under verbal violence, and the violence can be committed in several ways, and all of it should be avoided. Like it should be avoided that first that should start from us, that is committed to us, and asking others, uh, and moreover in while exhibiting violence and all, mostly people like themselves exhibit the violence, and at the same time they ask others, like forcing others to commit the violence and encouraging others to commit violence. So we are like some, for example, if there is a group of children over there, and one particular children is little bit innocent. He is not even that much socialized, that much not well versed with education and grades and all. This group of children, they started to uh, treat the child by bullying them and hurting them. So these actions will affect the child overall well-being, when because when his emotions are being suppressed, when he was being not able to communicate properly, so as he grows as an adult, this these triggers will grow out. At the same time, the child has been progressing, his anger, frustration also emerges out, and ascertaining or condoning violence, because no part of a curriculum in our right now in our education system not teach, not specifically emphasized about. Maybe we have moral science subject. I don't know whether the schools right now they are using it there. Whether we are studying at the time, we have one specific subject called moral science. They teach us about morals, human morals, and kindness, compassion. Now I don't know whether it is there or not. So, and second thing is ahimsa means kindness and non-violence towards all living things, as I mentioned. So it's including animals, unity, and believe that things are not just connected but are integrally part of each other. Because we as a humans are a soul being, and similarly, any living entity is a soul of a being. So it's an ideal that one, we should not harm them. We should not, at least if you are not refrain from hurting them. If you cannot give food, if you cannot provide water, that is good. Okay, but you have your own values and your ethics. That is not acceptable. But let's not harm them, because every human being, how you feel, how you react, similarly the same thing happens. And if you are constantly engaging in crime and violence, using abusive words, your children also replicate the same thing. Because something, there is a quote like, if you sow a seed of love and compassion, the tree will grow into a tall and also give them fruits. If you imagine, if you sow a seeds of violence, hatredness, so the child, when we progress as an adult, he will become a destructive for the society. So how can we actually how can we actually we make a kind of kindness in children? As now we have seen the world of troubling times, it is incredibly important to fill our specific corners of our world with as much as of love, kindness, and compassion. Even the small acts of compassion can have a huge ripple effect. Compassion needs to be taught and modeled. As a parent, you are your best child's best teacher. Before going to the school, teaching your child that compassion, because home is the first school, and whatever the children learns at their home, they exhibit at the later on. The schooling is also important. The perspective is also important, but most of the time, the children are spent their like whatever the most of the time they spend at their homes. What is ideally important that is the children, the parents need to be taught the compassion early age. So we can see that what are the ways to teach the art of compassion. Show your children through your actions. Show it. Because as I mentioned that children are your photocopy. So whatever your actions are, you are doing it, they replicate the same. Look, when you are any elderly people are coming, when you are respecting elders, so they will understand. Oh, when an elderly people comes, we should respect them. So they will learn from that. And similarly, if you are imagine if you are helping a senior citizen by crossing the road, and observing that, he will learn that okay, whenever a senior citizen is in need of help, I should go and help them. And similarly, when you are offering any need food to the needy people, they will observe it, okay, and they will learn also. They will ask questions because children are curious. They are actually pure souls. They will ask every question. Okay, why you give the food to the people? Why you are donating the food to the people? Then you can explain them. So it's actually a ritual, and moreover, it is a kind gesture. Whenever we are donating food to the needy people, it makes us feel good and positive. And they will also learn the same. They will also go to the school and they will also say to their friends, I have learned from this good thing from my father. My mother used to say that I used to have to donate like some sort of food to the needy people, which can inculcate compassion. Through one child, many good things also will happen because this group of friends also will learn from them. How good can transmit the same way, bad will also flow. Bad will also transmit the same. So, and secondly, and other thing is like if someone is coming to the towards the door, if you are went to a restaurant or any other place, someone is at the door, just open the door. Then they will understand. Okay, someone is coming to someone is waiting outside. Let's open the door and let's welcome them. And whenever someone is coming to the place, greeting them, maybe by using namaskaram, like good morning, good evening, the respect gestures, and treating animals with kind is very important. Nowadays, I have seen being in the animal welfare field. When I was went for a emergency rescue, he is pelting stones at the puppy, which is very small. Then I called him and asked him, "Why are you hitting the puppy? Why are you hitting the puppy with stones?" Uh, the answer surprised me. The first thing he has told me is, my father and mother told me that to hit the dogs. Dogs are very cruel. That means their father and mother has generalized making that a dog, animal, a particularly a street dog, as uh, like a something like an hated thing that has seated in the very kinder age. Now, if they imagine that the boy transforms in a youth, I mean, whether it's his teens or any adults, he will take the stick or any other thing, and he don't mind that to hit the dog, same dog. So, where it has been started, where the root cause is the parenting. If the parents might told him that don't hit the animal. If you can feed the animal with food and water, many religious things are also there. Maybe you can feed them, or else you treat them with kindness because they are also they can't speak like ourselves. If the parent has told the same thing, the child would not have said the answer to me like that. So nowadays, this was empathy, what we call as stepping into the other stones and understanding them, which is very much missing. And the other way you can show the children a kindness or compassion is volunteering at the local animal shelters, being it animal welfare or animals, rescued animals, or you can take your kid to there and show them. So if you hit a dog, how you know how the animal is suffering. The suffering of the animals you can show them. You can also ask them to provide some water. Can you help the animal to give some water? It seems to be a little bit thirsty. So children will like to do that because they have innate bonding with the animals. It's the we as a adults we're actually breaking the bond. There is also supervision is also important. I'm not saying to leave the child at this animal and just to go out, but supervision is important and compassion is also very. Look, human NGOs mostly uh, most of the time elderly to senior citizens. They are like 80s and that are either 60s and 70s and 80s. They are missing their grandchildren because they are missing their sons because they have been abandoned by their families. They have been living a life. Maybe they are getting food and everything, but they are missing that emotional bonding. So maybe you can take your children to the elderly, like NGOs, like anything. So they can also that will also work as a therapeutic one. Imagine they can also know be more kind to the children and they will be more happy. You can create a ripple effect on your child because they don't have their communication with nowadays grandfather and grandmother because they are staying in some other town and we they are staying they are work because of their work or any other things. So now, if you can take the children to the any local NGOs or any other human NGOs, I'm saying that. So they can also learn. Okay, when an elderly person is there, we need to treat them with respect. We need to give some food and water. Maybe we can donate some money. So they can also do some fundraising in their schools when they are having competition, like they are having an extracurricular activity. They can do this thing also. And at the same time, if you make your children ownership, taking a ownership and acts of kindness, like in our day-to-day household work, you can ask your child, would you mind, can you help me in like getting the vegetables in the fridge? Would you mind, can you get me vegetables on the table? Or any other food? Maybe can you get can you get a plate or a vessel? So small things. They can do that, and even in the gardening, if you can say that, you can ask. You can develop that thing also. Indeed, will develop the love towards that because gardening is also very therapeutic thing, which can help make your kids to uh, connect to environment, and now they will be more excited to do that because when they feel accountable and they want to do more and more. And second more thing, speak with compassion. Kids are capable of compassion and showing them that you believe in them is very important. Nowadays, someone as a small child will go and give a fast 1 rupee or 2 rupees to any like any distribute people. Instead of shouting on them, don't show the negative like in shouting and showing that some negative traits. What actually they develop is okay. If I give 1 rupee means my father will definitely shout. My father will hit me, and these are like distribute people, and we should not be them. So don't bring the negative traits of your children. Bring the positivity and bring the good characteristics because today the child he is very child now. When he progresses as a teens and adult, they are our. You have to remember that uh, they are our future of our nation. So treating them and raising them with kindness and compassion, and also encouraging them to do more such activities and focusing on that is very much essential. And other thing is encouraging your children to go to the local library. Like if they can read a lot of good books, moral stories. We earlier days we have nowadays also they are getting in book. We Kindle or like in libraries also very local libraries we can get a Chandamama and Panchatantra books. So where they actually promote a lot of compassion and moral stories too. make them a habit of reading a book, because through book reading they can develop the language, and also they can be learn the moral language, moral, I mean to say, the compassion and kindness. And for kids in the secondary level schools, encourage them to write letters, uh, to, for example, if you take about farmer. A farmer is someone who, if you are eating the food, means farmer is responsible for that. So make your kid to write a letter to your farm, any or, because of you we are eating food. We are thankful to you. We are grateful to you. So they develops an empathy in them. And similarly, if we talk about military, they are the people who are serving for the country. They are staying away from their families. So if you can we can encourage children to writing in the letters to the military, other doctors, and even the senior citizens, NGOs, any one of them. So they actually feel more happy, because day-to-day work they get exhausted some, and reading these letters from children, uh, this gives them the positive energy, and at the same time, for your child also, they develop a sense of compassion through writing. And finally, parenting, just a minute. Sorry. So, and finally, it's not your job to toughen your children to face a cruel and heartless world. So, it's not your way to teach your children. Okay, you through harsh punishments and physical punishments. What it actually happened is, during the whatever they will develop uh, inner like childhood traumas. Now, if you can Google it, you can get a lot of information about it. When you are treating your child little bit harshly in the name of discipline, or discipline is very important. But when it is important, where it is important, how it is important, that we should also learn from that. Not always in the name of discipline. If you are teaching your I mean, if you are providing your children lot of uh, like a lot of trauma in them, because harsh punishments usually what actually develops the child is an aversion towards education and aversion towards your become so antisocial elements for the society. Our intention is to make our children the best. I mean, I mean to say, the future children, the future nation of our today's children are the future. Uh, Today's children are the future citizens of the nation. So it is highly important to teach our children an empathetic and kind and compassionate learning, and not to make their job difficult and to face the world of cruel and heartless world. And it is our job to raise children who will make the world a little less cruel and heartless, a little more happy, little more positive, and little more kind. So with that, I'm ending the presentation. And thanks a lot for each and everyone for so patiently hearing it. And thanks a lot for Ravindra sir for providing this wonderful opportunity. Thanks a lot to Sri Holistic Health Foundation of India and Sri Research Institute of Sciences, and have all the participants. And I do apologize for the small technical glitch, but you are been there for the entire presentation. And thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you, Ravindra sir.
Thank you, Ms. Pradeep. It was a wonderful presentation with a lot of insights. As compassion towards everything on this planet is very much essential because we are highly independent. In the nature, it also means that we are dependent on everything on the planet. So, in that way, when we say independent, we also say we are dependent. Independent in its own function and dependent in an holistic functioning of the human being as part of a whole, we are saying. So we need to be compassionate because we are sharing the resources of other species. And we are sharing, the resources which are very much limited and has to be shared by everyone on the planet. But we are exploiting and we are depriving the resources of other species. And we have to be more compassionate and considerate towards other species, as they also need these resources for their survival, for their development, and not only with respect to resources, but also the way we conduct ourselves with animals. We need to, in day-to-day life, or when we encounter with animals, is very well presented. So we appreciate your efforts in presentations, and we wish you all the success for your future presentations and endeavors.
Thank you, Ravinder.
Participants, if you have any queries, feel free to share in chat box. If there are, you can continue to share your queries in chat box. So thank you once again, Mr.
Thank you,
Pradeep.
sir. Thank you, Ravinder, sir.
So we'll move on to one more commemoration, that is today we are celebrating Kartika Purnami, and then we'll close the session for this day. Today we are celebrating Guru Nanak Jayanti, which is also known as Guru Nanak Guru Purab, which celebrates the birth of first Sikh Guru, Guru Nanak, and one of the most celebrated and important Sikh Gurus and the founder of Sikhism. And Guru Nanak is highly revered by the Sikh community. This is one of the most sacred festivals in Sikhism or Sikh. The festivities in the Sikh religion revolve around the anniversaries of 10 Sikh Gurus. These Gurus were responsible for shaping the beliefs of Sikhs, and their birthdays, known as Guru Purab, are occasions for celebration and prayer among the Sikhs. Guru Nanak, the founder of Sikhism, was born on Puranmashi of Cuttack in 1469, according to Vikram Samvatsar calendar, in Rai Boidi, Talwandi, in the present Sheikhpura district of Pakistan. Now, Nankana Sahib, it is guested holiday in India, as this also coincides with the Kartika Purnami, as the Guru Nanak was born on the full moon day, Purnamashi of the Indian lunar calendar, that is Kartik Mas, in the month of Kartik. So this coincides every year with the Kartika Purnami. So that's why, as to honor the Sikh Guru, this Kartika Purnami and also the Guru Purab comes together on every year, and also it is a guested holiday in India. However, the Sikhs has been celebrating Guru Nanak's Guru Purab around November for this reason, and it has been ingrained in 6 editions. Some scholars and organizations believe the birthday should be celebrated on Vaisakhi, which falls on 27 November according to the Mool Nakshatra calendar. So other people, organizations would like to keep the traditional date by celebrating on the full moon day called Purnima of the lunar month Kartik. The Nanak Shahi calendar follows the Gregorian calendar and celebrates it on Kartika Purnima. So though the different dates reflect a mismatch between different time units, the problem with designating an accurate calendar is that three natural units of time, the day, the month, and the year, are based on different movements: the Earth rotation about its axis, the moon's revolution around the Earth, and the Earth's revolution around the sun. Their periods are not integer multiples of each other. The challenge in aligning solar and lunar calendars arises from the discrepancies in their respective directions. A solar year spans approximately 365.25 days, while a lunar month is around 29.53 days. The sum of 12 lunar months falls short of of a solar year by 11 days, 1 hour, 31 minutes, and 12 seconds. Over 3 years, this discrepancy nearly equals to 1 month, and the moon's orbit takes about 27.3 days, causing it to lag behind the Earth's orbit around the Sun, resulting in an 10.87 day difference between a lunar year, that is 354.372 days, in a solar year, which is 365.2422 days. So that is how we say every 4 years, we have a leap year, and where we get an extra day in February, and also in Hindu calendar, because Hindu calendar is a true reflection of the nature, so it correctly, exactly captures to the precise of these calculations. So we get Adhik Mas. So one extra month we'll be getting every 3 years on fourth year. Now this is how Hindu calendar exactly calculates the time and date than any other calendar. So that is, if you want to follow strictly exact time to time, then the Hindu calendar is the only calendar that gives you exact time. So based on that, we have the same thing. As we also seen while commemorating various calendar days, we have seen what blunders these people have made in bringing all those calendars, Roman calendar, Gregorian calendar, and all, which are not correct, but they are practically easy to follow because they are just numbers, and you keep just rotating. It is easy to remember. They are popular because it is easy to remember and more convenient to practice, but they are not scientifically or correct in terms of uh, science. Still, they can be used as, even we have seen daylight adjustments also happen. Recently, we have commemorated based on the daylight savings, so that one extra hour or so can be adjusted accordingly. So this is all part of adjustments. Everyone, as per their convenience, they are creating so many things. Like that's how many religions were created from the universal Sanatana Dharma. Someone created and they said it is Christianity, someone else created with their own beliefs. They termed it as Islam, and someone else created, Buddhism, Jainism. That's how so many religions, so many gods, everyone is creating. Even today also, there are many religions being created, but not that so popular. Because again, religious as an institution, it needs lot of investments. It has become more or less a business today. Unfortunately, converting people and also of promoting their religion and discriminating other religions, it has taken all the unwanted elements into it, and it has become a number game, increasing their thing. But unfortunately, that is not what actually religion is. Religion is having, these basically the concept of different religions came with the difference of ideologies. And someone doesn't want to follow something which is existent. So they just want to keep themselves exempt from them, or have a different version or a different kind of thing. That's how so many religions came up. And some, like, just take a simple example. If we need to go to temple, for example, where a holistic health and well-being is taken care of, and you have to take bath, you have to wear good clothes, wash clothes, and so that you can keep your body, mind, soul calm, pure, relaxed. Otherwise, if your clothes are sweating and you are also sweating, or you are muddy, and you are not able to be at ease with your body, with your whatever you are wearing, your belongings, you cannot concentrate really, and the bad vibes or the energy or the discomfort or this you know the dis-ease, generally the disease also came in a similar way. When you are unease with yourself, dis-ease, when you are unease with yourself and your belongings or your wearings, that causes disease, then definitely you will be not be able to you know, carry on or continue with that kind of, where you will be not able to concentrate. Basically, to gain positive energy, to concentrate on these things. So it is very much essential that we need to be not just following something materialistically will not give you anything. As I said, this also has become business. This also become as a network. So a community, a network of people, so that where there is a sense of belonging, where you say, okay, you are Christian, then you are likely to be more associated, to have more Christian friends, or Christian groups or Christian communities, where you promote them, where you favor them, in similar way in Islam, or in similar way in other religions. But Sanatana Dharma is not like that, where everyone is treated a part of family, whether you are Islam, from whether you are from Christianity, or whether you are from Buddhism, Jainism, because all have a word. Like they are like children, those who are differed with their parents, and they are following their own paths. That's fine. But they have gone to an extent that they are discriminating, defaming, destroying their mothers and fathers, their parents. That is not good, because they are losing their own roots. Tomorrow they will become orphans and they will die their own deaths. That is what happens, over a period of time. And lot of, where there are no roots connected back to where you belong, what happens over a period of time, uh, they get perished over a period of. That's what we see. Roman Empire, what happened to the great Roman Empire? It is nowhere now. What people so called Egyptian empires and Celtic empires, what happened to all those? They are nowhere now. So that's why when you are not grounded, what happens over a period of time? These civilizations, these empires, and even religions also perish over a period of time, because Sanatana Dharma is such thing. Why it is always eternal? Because it is not just belong to humans. It is everyone in order. That is universal order. Everyone will follow and have to follow for the holistic health and well-being. That's why it is there forever. It is always eternal. But other religions are very particular with respect to human beings. That means they neglect all the other species. They think that they are superior than other species, and they can exploit everyone, including human beings, the fellow human beings. So that is where the entire concept goes wrong, and they invite a lot of diseases, disorders, and all kinds of things. So that shouldn't be, in any way, that should not lead us in any such kind of hate speech or discrimination. Or we all came from religion-less society. So that is the true society where you should not follow any religion as such. In the sense, you should always stick to Sanatana Dharma, where you are treated same and you are treating everyone same. You are not discriminating. See, by chance or you are born in some family by chance, not by choice. You did not select who in which religion you are going to be born, you which parents you are going to born. It's a chance factor that you are born. So whatever religion, whatever belief system your parents are having, you are adopting it because that is the way you have been taught, treated, and you have learned your religion. But that doesn't mean you should discriminate. You should dishonor, disrespect other religions or other views of belief systems. So unfortunately, most of the religions are engaging such thing. That's why people continue to suffer. So why we are discussing this is today is also a day for removing our ignorance, moving ourselves from darkness to light. So even we see this more in educated, especially that's why we often use the term educated illiterates. In spite of learning so much, they don't have this value education as part of their education imbibed in that. So they don't really understand what exactly. They just mug up and they just vomit in exams and get some marks, and that's all they have. But they practically, lack this kind of knowledge, or most of the knowledge, information they have is rarely converted into knowledge or rarely converted into wisdom. So today we are also commemorating Kartika Purnami or Purnima, which is a deeply revered festival in Hinduism and observed on full moon day of Kartik month or Masam, marking the conclusion of this auspicious period. Is not only significant from a religious perspective, but also holds cultural and social importance. On this day, rituals such as lamp donations, holy river baths, fasting, prayers, acts of charity are performed with dedication, offering spiritual growth and blessings. So, Kartika Purnami is considered one of the holiest days, and with its importance highlighted in numerous religious, ancient, spiritual texts, it is believed that this day marks the appearance of Lord Vishnu in its Matsya Avatara, that is, fish, as a species which is associated with the cosmic cycle of creation and preservation. Acts of which you performed on this Puranas are also believed to bring spiritual growth and blessings. This day is also celebrated as Tripurari Purnima by devotees of Lord Shiva, marking his victory over the demon Tripurasura, which symbolizes the triumph of good over evil. This victory is celebrated with great devotion, joy, and reverence. So, bathing in sacred rivers like Ganges, Yamuna, Godavari, Krishna on this auspicious day, and also for the entire month of Kartik Mas, is considered a purifying ritual that cleanses the soul and leading it a lower moksha towards moksha, liberation, and relief from sins. Devotees gather along with the banks of these holy rivers to perform the sacred baths, followed by prayers and rituals for spiritual growth. So, donation on Kartik Purnima is of paramount importance. On this day, acts of kindness, such as donating food, clothing, and essentials to the peers, to the sages, to the revered, or to the Brahmins. Brahmins here doesn't mean those who are born in Brahmin family. Those who have acquired, irrespective of one's birth, Those who have acquired the knowledge, divine knowledge, are known as Brahmins here in this context. Under the underprivileged are believed to purify one's soul. So lighting earthen lamps, don't use all this plastic, ceramic and all. Use pure earthen lamps, which are, biodegradable, which are 100% natural and, which are environment friendly because they are prepared from clay and mud and they get dissolved so that you can easily contribute back into the environment without any pollution. And use cotton wicks, don't use polyester, nylon, and all those synthetic, which again creates pollution. So use pure cotton. You can just pluck a bunch of cotton from cotton plant and you can use it as a thread, as a wick. Don't use any other thing that is also not mentioned. So don't use all kinds of plastic, artificial, and all those things. You are polluting more environment. So use oil, and again, don't use all synthetic, perforated, and all those oils. Again, that is toxic to the environment. Use pure oils like gingerly oil or whatever oil you can afford or you can use, or sunflower oil, palm oil, whichever you can afford. See, there is no hard and fast rule, though there are different benefits associated with one kind of oil associated, but whatever you can afford, you can use that oil and any vegetable oil as such. Don't use non-vegetarian oil, any or animal fat, but use any pure which is extracted from oil seeds and use it to light a light which gives a lot of benefits. Don't use candles or don't use, again, candle is made up of all chemicals. Toxins are released into the air. So don't use any candles to lit up. Even if you are using lights, so maybe some people are very conscious of even all these things. And if you are not able to do with that, then you can use especially lights which are highly energy efficient. Like nowadays we are getting LED lamps, those are very small and efficient. And you can use those lights which are energy efficient. Don't put all these, high wattage lamps and all those things. And that will also kill a lot of organisms, around because they need to survive and thrive. They can only survive and thrive in the night, in the darkness. So as we keep working in the daytime, they also keep working in the nighttime. So if there is light everywhere around, which is bright light, that is going to kill so many organisms where they cannot thrive and they cannot uh, carry out their own process like cleansing the environment, cleansing the decay in the soil, and taking care of soil and plants and all, providing essential nutrients. So it is also very much essential that we need to take care. A lot of studies also have been conducted having these, most of the lights, street lights, and everywhere we have seen LED bulbs with extra illumination has created loss of microorganisms, and all other bacteria have been killed in those places. Nowadays, people are conscious about that and they are, putting sensors so that where there is a movement. Otherwise, if there is no movement, lights are automatically getting switched off. So that will help the microorganisms and other bacteria to promote themselves, so that they are beneficial bacteria. Every species has a purpose. So we also need to take care of them. They are doing some work. If they are not there in the ecosystem, then that activity gets stalled and there will be an adverse effects of that activity. So light lamps with pure earthen lamps and use cotton wicks and oil, any vegetable oil or any nuts oil. Don't use any other things. And offer yourself as a symbolic representation of lamp and ignite the lamp and feel and experience the moment of moving towards light from darkness, and let the ignorance, let the arrogance and all the evil qualities within us, let's get away with our lighting of lamp. So use this wonderful opportunity. Know how scientific our elders has given. It is irrespective of any religion, whether you belong to which religion, doesn't matter. As I have told, these religions are all created by people and they have with their own vested interests. So don't get entangled with those things. They are not going to get you anything. It is more or less a fear factor or a control factor that keeps you binded, sometimes more or less slave of that, unless and until it is used properly. But unfortunately, we see religious terrorism and now see vandalizing temples and other religious places. And this is not actually the religion. If you are, we can call it as religious terrorism, you know. And now we see a lot of terrorists belonging to more of a particular religion creating such things. So this is not actually God wants, who wants if God is for well-being of all. If God is promoting of or any religion is promoting hatred, discrimination, inequality, injustice, or killing, then that is not a religion worth of calling or also practicing. So, in spite of studying so much, if you are still ignorant and blindly following that, then there is no purpose of getting so many degrees. And, that means you still haven't moved from the data stage to information or information stage to knowledge or knowledge to wisdom stage. That means you just mugged up and you didn't understand anything literally or, with a proper contextual meaning of that. So let's use this wonderful day, irrespective of whether which religion you belong to, doesn't matter. But always have compassion, always have, humane approach to everyone. Let's treat, because we are talking as a social workers, as a psychologists, as legal, advocates, as representatives, human rights activists, and all. It is our responsibility to treat everyone equally. See, human rights are ahead of everything. Everyone has to be treated equally. Which religion you belong to, which caste you belong to, which creed you belong to, doesn't matter. Only thing matter is we all are human beings and we need to respect each other. We need to share resources equally based on one's ability, based on one's potential and willingness. See, if you are not willing to take up something, there is no point in forcing, because again it will lead to depletion and wastage of resources. So whatever, not everyone requires same thing. So judicial, that's where the equality concept is overtaken by the equity concept. So it is what you require. Whatever one requires, that we need to give. It's not that every resource is divided equally and most of the resources are getting wasted because that person or that species may not require that resource. So you are wasting that resource. So that's how the equity concept has come. Wherever, whatever is required for your minimum growth and development, or for reaching the potential, if you have the capacity and willingness to do, you need to be provided so that you are making best use of the resources and creating an optimum opportunity for yourself and as well as for others. And also the significance of charity. That's why today we are talking about charity during this auspicious occasion, which is highlighted in various Hindu scriptures, including Garuda Purana, which emphasizes the value of selfless giving. The beauty of this virtue is expressed in various slokas, like just as small as banyan seed when sown grows with help of water. In the same way, the tree of virtue grows with charity. So on Kartika Purnima, donations are believed to carry immense blessings. But have you ever wondered which kinds of donations truly amplify the power of this sacred day? Anything, acts of charity such as donating food, whatever you have, you donate. Whatever you can, you donate. Don't go in a spree always. So always be conscious, mindful of what you have. Don't go, don't again borrow from someone and donate. That is again a kind of sin that you are doing, because you are not only troubling them. If you are unable to repay, you are troubling yourselves also. Again, it is creating a misery for both of you. So don't do that kind of things unless and until you are sure that you are going to compensate them in any way. So whatever you have, if you don't have anything, you just food grains. If you have, you prepare, you cook rice or you prepare chapati or whatever you can do, give it. Or if you cannot prepare for so many people, you can just donate the raw rice or something like that, or whatever kind. If you like, even putting some food to ants, or someone to birds, giving some food to birds or water, that is also a true charity in itself without expecting anything. Again, this kind of phobia, or what we call mania, of taking photos and selfies, all this, even that is also a kind of expectation where you will forgo your benefits. Because again, you are doing one act and you are sharing to 1,000 people, lakh people, billions of people. That is one kind of encouragement. But that you are deliberately doing it to get some name and fame, then again you are dividing of those benefits. So you are not using it properly. Many people, often they keep to us because we are being spiritual persons. We do counseling, and many people keep us telling, I am doing that, I am doing this, I am doing that, I am donating that much, I am donating this much. But they are more focused on getting name and fame out of that. They, when they are doing that, they are trying to maximize the benefit from that. So that should not be there always. A donation, in earlier days we used to set, even our scriptures are were saying, the if we are donating with the right hand, generally with one hand, the left hand should not know that. If the right eye sees that, left eye should not know that you are giving it to someone, you are donating to someone. That is true charity. But now what things are nowadays, to promote this by spreading a word, that has taken altogether in a different way, in a different manner, and that has become a publicity advertising stunt, and a kind of thing where people are misusing, and that has become a business altogether. But in that way, you are doing a business, that's all. You are trading it for name, fame, popularity, or free advertisement. These are cheap advertisement tricks, and you are not going to gain anything. No punya will be coming to you. You are again creating a papa. You are again committing sin, because you are again hurting them. You are making them, more vulnerable and victims. So that is why their privacy, their rights are also violated. Their right to privacy, their right to confidentiality is also violated. And because you are exposing them, and without their consent, you are uh, devaluing them, or dehumaning them, or you are discriminating them and showing them in such a way to others. So even dignity also gets affected. Their status is also getting affected. So there are a lot of these issues. So unless and until they are comfortable, you should always ask them. You can inform them. You don't just ask them. Many people we see, can I take photo? It's okay, fine. But what you are going to do with that? It's, you are going to keep it for your personal satisfaction, or you are going to really make a huge publicity out of it. you inform them so that they are also aware. Tomorrow, they should not feel they have been cheated, they have been, this kind of, it will only invite you bad karma and bad negative energy. That's why, in spite of doing so much of so called charity, because unfortunately, this is all charities of all Christian model where, you do charity for gaining something. There is no true charity in that. Charity always goes unnoticed, and without no publicity or without no expectation, and without even seeing to whom you are giving. You know, if you are giving to convert someone, if you are giving expecting someone, or if you are giving something that will not yield you anything, so don't do that. It will only create more problems for you. And we have seen also many people who, they, because they are under the brainwashed state of mind, they still think that, but in reality that doesn't give any benefits. They are in that viscous cycle of pain and suffering. And so that should not be happening again and again. You should be conscious of that. And by making a donation without any expectation, you create a ripple effect of kindness and compassion. A small act of generosity, like contributing to the meals for the underprivileged children or donating blankets for the cold, this is cold season, can elevate your life with divine blessings. So, your contribution on Kartik Purnima can also impact lives of many. So, this is winter season, you can just donate a blanket or some clothes to those, see who deserves them. More, it is like, if they don't want unnecessarily donate, then it is of no use, right? There are sometimes it happens. We also seen, because we also do some community work, and we are seeing communities where they say only this item we get abundantly. What to use that? They unnecessarily, don't use it, and they get spoiled unnecessarily. So just ask them. It's always better. You ask them what is that they require, what is that they are in dire need of, and try to provide that to them. If possible, you have that. Otherwise, you say, "This is what I have. If you need it, we'll give it to you. We are happy to give it to you. But if you need it, otherwise, if they don't need it, no problem. You don't give them. Unnecessarily, you are wasting the resources by giving them. So you can always ask them, what is that? In what way you can help them? So they will also be happy to express their wants or needs so that you can fulfill them. And that really serves the purpose. So, in this wonderful day, of course, there are various other activities also that is performed, like Tulsi Vivaha Utsav also is celebrated as part of this month, and various activities. And Dev Diwali, which is more famous in North India, which is also known as Diwali of Gods, is also celebrated on the day of Kartika Purnima. It is believed that Lord Shiva killed demon Tripurasura on this day of Kartika Purnima. Hence, Kartika Purnima is also known as Tripuri Purnima or Tripurari Purnima. And there are various also legends or associated with this, as Tripurasura defeated gods and started ruling their kingdoms. When Tripurasura was killed, gods were overjoyed and celebrated the day of Kartik Purnima as a day of illumination, and hence thousands of earthen lamps are lit at all temples and across the world. Some lakhs and crores of lamps are lit, as well as the bank of river Ganges and Yamuna, Krishna, Godavari, all these 8 rivers, lively rivers, on this day of Kartik Purnima, and people also take bath seeking the blessings. Always flowing water is a fresh water. And don't use any unfriendly or polluting products in the rivers, because again you are contributing something. Always, festivals are always natural, eco-friendly. So always try to follow what is mentioned in the scriptures, because those are always environment friendly. Those are always promoting economy. Those are always promoting well-being, health and well-being, not only of humans, but also animals and various species on the planet. So with this, we shall conclude today's commemorations and celebrations. And we wish you all, this 15 days is celebrated, especially dedicated for Lord Shiva, and the coming 15 days is dedicated for Lord Vishnu. Both Harihara, those are different phenomenons or aspects of divine, though there are different views of this divinity. So may Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu and all other gods and goddess bless you abundantly with wisdom, knowledge, health, wealth, and prosperity to all of you. With this, we shall conclude today's sessions. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form, which has been raised in the form of polls before leaving the platform. See you all tomorrow at the same time. Take care. Good night.